This week's episode of the Stickers and Scuffs podcast has been presented in partnership with our friends at JRS Auctions. Also proud supporters of the OSCAAR Hot Rod and Modified series, JRS Auctions is your go-to for amazing, exciting, fun treasures that could be yours today. Just register www.jrsauctions.com. You have July 5th, which is today at 9 a.m., which is before this podcast started, and you can go until July 9th at 2 p.m. Lots of amazing treasures, including cars, boats, art, decor, collectibles. I myself got to get that Hulk Hogan signed New World Order pop vinyl set. Absolutely love it. Star Wars collectibles, die-cast, Coca-Cola collectives, motorcycles. What isn't at JRS Auctions? Check them out. Proud supporter of the Stickers and Scuffs podcast.
Hi, this is Mario Andretti, and you're tuned into Cam, Graydon, and the team at Stickers and Scuffs podcast. They're true Canadian racing fans.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Ken K with you. Graydon Bunn is off tonight, so we've got a new pinch hitter tonight. It is Wade Yarrow coming in and pinch hitting for us tonight as guest co-host. Thank you so much, Wade. Appreciate it with the Full Throttle Motor Speedway mug. That's badass. And we got our great, our amazing guest. I'm really excited about this one because I got to chat with him actually on Jomo Media on the True North Racing podcast. And man, I want to know more. It is Tyler Hawn of the OSCAAR Hot Rod series and of the Hot Rods out at Sunset Speedway. And our episode is, of course, partnered with JRS Auctions. So what a great fit to have Tyler Hawn. Tyler, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, we're not doing too bad, just coming off a big weekend of racing, so trying to relax a little bit, getting some work done on the car.
Yeah, you had one hell of a weekend because you came away with the win. It didn't now the win on Saturday. The win on Friday didn't really happen, but we would be remiss without sending our best messages out to best wishes out to Steve McCaw and his family. A very scary incident, and Tyler, for you as a competitor, how were you able to put that type of a situation behind you and go out and race on Saturday?
Well, it's hard to try to keep a situation like that at the front of your mind, because a situation like that can literally happen to anybody, anytime, if a situation like that were to happen, the best scenario to have happened is how it happened with Steve. It wasn't going 100 mile an hour down the backstretch into a corner. It was under the cool down lap. Luckily nobody was around, and it's unfortunate that it happened, but when and where it happened, I think that's the best case scenario in that situation. I met him for the first time that night. Even during the day, we were running super hard together all day.
Yeah.
Out of black. And it's scary, man. My heart is out to him and his family, I hate to see anything like that happen.
And for a guy that was running he finished second and had one hell of a race. And I didn't really know much of him either ahead of this race. And I was blown away. I absolutely loved it. The car is beautiful too. And Thank God for Derek Clark and the crew members that were down there to turn the accelerator off, and all the people that jumped in. The medical team literally saved his life, and it puts into perspective, I think, for a lot of us, and I think myself, being a race fan and never having a desire to get behind the wheel, you don't think about the risks as such on a short track. I will admit, I never really did, because it's not Talladega, it's not Daytona, it's not those really, really fast racetracks. But you guys, it was hot, it was humid, the air quality was bad out. You guys were under some really intense conditions on Friday. How severe was it actually behind the wheel?
It was hot, like, one big thing I'm about is drinking water all day. Like, I force it in me to the point where I'm almost going to be sick, because I've been in situations where I've been dehydrated and get heat stroke and all that. And that's not fun, especially when we have 2 days of racing and both days are that hot. We had some rain and it just makes it so humid. Like, everybody's car was overheating in all divisions, and it's hard on the body, and you have to do what you have to do, and like, you don't know what any underlying health conditions that anybody has, including like myself or anybody else, and when your body's going through that kind of stuff all day, that's kind of when those situations come out, and unfortunate things happen.
I mean, it wasn't the only thing. Johnny Perodzinski had a big wreck at Sauble yesterday as well. So an SNS driver, and that one to me as well, because I know him and I've met him, shook his hand, interviewed him. That one really got me. And it's the first experience ever knowing a racer, like actually personally knowing somebody who's been involved in something like that. And I don't think, again, as a fan, you really realize the risk until you know somebody.
Well, exactly. Even a family member or like even a friend, everybody's here right now in front of you, but 2 minutes later, or 30 seconds later, they could be gone, So like, you just kind of have to, like, the way I live my life is you kind of have to live every moment like it's your last anyway, because you can't live the regrets, and like with Steve there, he was doing what he loved to do. Like, I talked to him earlier in the day, and he hasn't been out at the track, he said, I think 11 or 12 years, and he was having an absolute blast, So like, he was having a good day, and we know the deal at Sauble. We know he was having a good day too.
Mm-hmm.
He was there having fun, doing his thing. He was fast. Like, I was up there with my brother yesterday, and I was watching the race. I didn't see exactly what happened, but like, it's unfortunate, but like, it's what they love to do. That's what I love to do. If it happens, and like, it's just, things happen so fast,
I would even say that his wreck wasn't something that you would have thought that would have caused an injury, but that's just how injuries happen. I mean, I would have never broken this elbow clean off. I wasn't playing sports. I wasn't doing anything that was of the sort. I wasn't doing anything dangerous. I was walking to the train and stepped on uneven pavement and went right down on it and broke it clean off. Injuries happen at the worst times.
Oh,
so our best wishes are going out to both of them, their families. It is a tough scene, but for you, Tyler, you got out there and you didn't win this race on the track, essentially. They then had a tech issue resulted in the win. You had some comments during your interview. Did you have a sense that something wasn't right?
Well, there's some things that just not about the guy in question, or there's some stuff could be said, but I think it's best left unsaid because that's just not who I am. You know what I mean? But my biggest problem is that, like, I work on my car minimum 4 hours a night. It doesn't matter how many hours. Like, I work 12-hour days, 8-hour days, 15-hour days. It doesn't matter. I still get time put in on my car every single day. And there's people out there that don't understand my racing program and they label me as a cheater, right? When I build a car, like if I took this video out to the shop right now, I could show you that I have a rule book in the top drawer of my toolbox, okay? When I'm doing anything to the race car, when I'm building the race car, when I'm doing anything, that rule book is open and I'm building to the rules, okay? In my opinion is, if you get caught cheating, even if you say you didn't know, you know, right? And it's plain in the rule books. You know, I'm not going to say what it was. Everybody already knows what it was and all that stuff. But it's just it's if it's in the rule book that you're not allowed to have it, then you're labeled as cheating. So, you know, it's unfortunate that it happened because he had a good race. I had a good race, you know, but it is what it is, you know.
So is the rule book for the Sunset and the OSCAAR hot rods, is it all the same, or is there different when you run OSCAAR and then when you run Sunset?
They are the same rule book. Just I believe Sunset has a little different rule book for the body, but mechanical wise and chassis wise, I'm 99.9% sure they're the same.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your car. What are you running for a chassis under that?
So we have it's an old Hooters Pro Cup chassis that we had to modify a little bit with the front and rear clip and stuff like that. And yeah, it's an old chassis, just works really good.
So in terms of that, Tyler, is that interchangeable though? Like and you could run it in any other in a different type of series, or is it only something you could run as a hot rod?
We would have to change a few things to run it in, like say we wanted to go run a late model or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty much just the hot rod chassis. Like tube clip perimeter car. That's pretty much.
And yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I was going to say, why did you choose the Pontiac Beaumont?
Well, we just kind of like the look of the Chevelle, right? When we built the car, and we wanted to keep it Canadian, and then you know, so the Beaumont's a Canadian Chevelle, pretty much, right? So, and then we got a line on a body that was sitting up in a swamp, so we just kind of went with it.
I love the stories about this because we got to talking with Nick Clark about this. Yeah. And I love hearing where these cars came from, because that's the most fascinating thing about the OSCAAR Hot Rod series is I kind of wish we had it on the United Racing was what did this car, where did it come from beforehand? Because some of the history is just absolutely amazing. And are you guys finding a shortage of parts for these cars, or and will we have to expand the years sooner rather than later?
Well, the thing with us is I got a really good body guy, Josh Watson. He's my cousin. He's Glenn Watson's son. The guy is a genius with metalwork, right? So he makes all my doors, fenders, and rear quarters. So my fenders, the tops and the sides, same with the rear quarters, are all made out of one piece of sheet metal. But they're the same dimensions and everything as a stock fender, same metal thickness and all that stuff. The only problem that we have are like front and rear bumpers. Trying to find those gets tough, but it's really not that bad, to be honest with you. You know, like it's you just like the stock bumpers are pretty thick material, so they can be pushed back into place if we have to. But I kind of tore up the front bumper this past weekend, so I have to do a little welding on it, but that's great.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them a little bit. I know GTA, he's done some work for Amanda Balsam's car, and I know the rules can be a little bit tricky. So it's the roof that has to be original factory, correct?
Yep.
Trunk lid and the roof. Sorry, not the roof, the hood.
You can have a fiberglass hood if you want.
Okay.
Just because it's hard to get the hoods like for a stock car, and also they're so heavy.
Yes.
You know, we're allowed to run a fiberglass hood if we want. So you can get a late model hood, and then you just cut it to the dimensions you need, and you're good to go. So
You mentioned Glenn Watson. So he's pretty big in the super late model scene.
Yep.
Is that something you plan on running again at any point, or?
We still got the car. I don't know what our future holds for that right now. We were up at Sunset there and watched the super late race, and obviously we want to get it back out, but it's just we have a shop space issue. You know, like we have 3 TQs, a super stock, a hot rod. So it's just we just need a bigger shop right now to be able to build another car, you know. So like the Super's been parked here, so it needs a bunch of work to like a bunch of maintenance to get her back up to par. But I don't know, I can see it happening at some point.
It's a class that I think we at the podcast really don't have enough knowledge of, but it has a really big following. I don't know if it's not out there as much on social media, if it's competitors. I know there's some really, really great drivers in that division. But for yourself, Tyler, I know you've even toyed at the possibility of OSS. I threw it out there that there was cars out there. Really, what haven't you been in a class so far in your career? Because you've kind of done a large majority of it.
Well, yeah, like I've run supers, I've run 4-cylinders, I've run late models, the hot rods. You know, I'd love to try anything. You know, like maybe pro late. You know, I wouldn't even mind trying a Legend one day, maybe a TQ one day. I don't know. Like I'm a big dude, so like it's hard to get in these little cars, you know. But even OSS, like it's just my problem is it's just the time. You know, like I like to keep my program like spot on. So when you try to throw a lot of other stuff into the mix, it's really hard to focus on your own stuff, right? So that's and money too. You know, like it's big money to run all this stuff. So it's just I don't know. Like, well, you never know what the future holds. You know.
Well,
even I'd love to hop in a modified one day too, and just I've never done it, so I'd like to try that. Even dirt. I'd like to go do some dirt late model racing.
I kind of love everything that I'm hearing. You know, Tyler, it's great to hear. But I actually was going to ask another question about the hot rods before we switch that. What is there a class or a type of car that you have not seen in the hot rod series yet that you would love to be racing up against? Because I mean, you've got some pretty good ones. Ryan Cowan's car out there, Kyle Woods' car out there. Obviously, yours is up there. Steve Book. I every time Books drives around in that little Studebaker, it just makes me smile, man. Is there one that you haven't seen yet that you want to see out there?
I don't know. Like it's hard to say because like there's just so many good ones that are already out there, right? But like when you see it on TV and like GoPro videos and stuff, that doesn't give you like that doesn't justify what you actually see in your own eyes when you're running with these guys. Like these cars are so cool to look at, you know, and like I don't know, like I like the big old boats, like that 44 car. Like it is a boat, man. Like to run up beside that thing and like it's just amazing. But I don't know, like it's hard to. I would like to see somebody build a Corvette.
Oh,
that's what I would like to see. That would be hard to do with the chassis, but I think that's something that needs to come out would be a Corvette.
Well, I've thrown it out there, and I don't know. It got a lot of laughs when we were talking with Parazinski, but I said, listen, the amount of we're running low on cars, old cars, but you know what? There's tons of out there. There's old trucks and old vans. I'm just saying, we needed a vanning division. Strip those old cube vans driving around and racetrack. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that sounds like a good intermission show for like at a dirt track.
Brighton Speedway has a van class. I think it runs bi-weekly or something like that. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, like I love that shit. Even the at Full Throttle when they get the chain races going, I love. It's amazing.
One thing I think is cool about Full Throttle is they do have a class of full-size trucks.
Yeah.
I think every asphalt track should have a class of full-size trucks. There's enough of them in the scrapyard
Oh, for sure.
to convert over.
That's the thing I think that maybe people don't realize really is you think about, I mean, I remember our family having a Dodge Caravan and it was a piece of crap. And I was like, you know what would be great for a piece of crap is to run it on a racetrack, strip it down like a bone stock, and just have like a bone stock van division out at Sunset Speedway or out at like you said, let him do like at Brighton Speedway or something or Schweeken. I'm saying money making endeavors right now, because at the end of the day, if you can get somebody partnering in because it's a van, we've seen at Delaware in the they've had they call them the grocery getters when they do the King of the Hills, but I want to see them actually race against other vans. Make it fun, right?
It would be awesome. Like, I remember a long time ago when I was a little kid, Sunset used to have the school bus races, but I believe that somebody owned all the buses, and then whoever won the heats during the night would drive those buses at intermission in a race or after the race. From what I remember, like, that would be something that would be cool if they had like a bunch of vans that were owned by a group of people, that they would get the guys and the girls that won the races that night to have like a match of the night type deal,
I mean, it's perfect. And then you say buses too. I seen an old TTC bus that was available on Marketplace, I think it was. And JRS has got stuff all the time. So, Joel Robichaux, I'm telling you right now, buddy, we've got options. If you got cars that you've got to get rid of, we'll take them and make a JRS vanning division or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that would be fun.
There you go, Tyler. There's your next division going to championship.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I think this is it's excellent to hear that we have such great racing taking place across Ontario. But Tyler, there's obviously still a fight between racetracks week in and week out, divisions week in and week out. One of the hardest questions I think to ask somebody that's involved in both racing series right now is the strength of the hot rod class. I think that Delaware race, the amount of cars that you guys had out there, the amount of racing, I mean, Sunset let's not lie here. It's a little bit less competitive, but it's got a very good start. Why did you make the decision to race both? And is that going to continue?
So my thing is I want to race as much as humanly possible. I've always been a big person of traveling around, because I find when I travel at different tracks that I keep myself sharp. Like, for instance, we showed up at Delaware on Friday, right? So by the time I showed up to the feature, I gained 7/10. Okay, so that, and even on Sunday, I was even faster. So I improved myself. So I'm learning how to adapt. I did the Saturday night shows at Barrie Speedway for years and years and years. And I love doing that. It's a lot cheaper to go run local racing. Like this weekend, I had a major issue with my truck. We blew the transmission in the truck and all that kind of stuff. So it got expensive this weekend. But like, it doesn't matter where the racing is, I'm going to be there. So I want to support Sunset as much as possible. I love that track. I like the people there. You know what I mean? It's good racing. Everybody there is awesome. And same with OSCAAR and the APC guys. Like they're all doing amazing for themselves, or for that class as well, right? So it just really sucks when there's overlap races. And unfortunately, the overlap races for the hot rods and the Sunset hot rods is Sauble Speedway. And I love Sauble Speedway. So it's a toss-up for me to pick. And the only argument that won that was where my sponsors want me. Right? And without my sponsors, I wouldn't be here. So that's what my final decision was. So the first time we went to Sunset, I don't know what's going to happen with the next overlap race. You know what I mean? We'll have to see when the time comes. So, but it is what it is,
Yeah, that's hard because Saab only has, I believe, 2 months of the year to actually operate, right? So I always try to make a point to get there once a year at least.
Yeah, and like we have a bunch of fans that are up there too that I like to support, and I just love the racetrack. Like it's tough. Um,
Fast.
it is fast, and every race you go out, the car's different. You know, like I don't know if it has to do with the humidity there or something, but it's just you're always learning. And I've like that track is probably one of the tracks I've learned the most at of how to adapt to different conditions.
So you were talking about trying to travel around as much as possible. Obviously, just kind of sticking with Sunset and the OSCAAR this year. But what has some traveling you have done before to some tracks that you'd like to go back to one day?
Well, Jucos is a big one. You know, that place fun. We're going to Brighton again with the OSCAAR. That's really fun to throw our hands in some dirt for a night. But we pretty much hit every other track. You know, we're up at full throttle there in a couple weeks. I haven't been there in a few years. Last time I was there, I was in my super late. So I'm excited to go back there, you know, and you know, if we had more time, I'd be traveling a lot more, you know, but it's hard. But yeah, I think we're going to pretty much hit every track this season, except for Grand Bend. I don't think we're at Grand Bend, but we're going to be everywhere else. No, I'm excited to go back to Peterborough too. I love that place as well.
Will you be coming to Peterborough for the Autumn Colors this year?
Oh yeah, we'll be there. Absolutely. Can't miss.
Yeah, you can't miss that. No,
Yeah.
can't miss it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I think we'll wrap up kind of before we get to your partners, Tyler. But where did the nickname Kodiak come from? Because I hear Brendan Doherty use it for the race calls, and I'm like, that's a great nickname. First off, so where did that come from?
So back in the day, they used to call my dad the Bear, right? So then it was actually Spencer Lewis that came up with the Kodiak name for me. And it was just funny because he mentioned it to me and asked me how I liked it when he was doing the announcing at Sunset. And I'm like, you know what's funny about that? And I told him a story about them calling my dad the Bear. Like on the side of my dad's helmet, he had a bear on it and all that kind of stuff. And so it's just kind of stuck since then. So
if you're Kodiak, what's Daniel?
I don't know. We'll call it. We'll call him the.
He's not Cub.
Call him the Cub. I was trying to think of something fair to call him, but I don't know. I haven't really come up with a nickname. Like a lot of there's a couple guys that started calling him the Golden Boy, so that's kind of what we call him. So.
Well, Tyler, you have some amazing partners on the number 2 that get you to the racetrack at Sunset and in the OSCAAR Hot Rod Series. And I absolutely love seeing you in both. You're one of my favorites to watch out there. The battle that you and Amanda had a couple weeks ago was phenomenal. She was trying to chase you down. And I absolutely think you guys are, and that's what I mean. Like in a way, I kind of feel like you and Tom Walters, you know, Herb, you guys are all kind of building that class, and you've got some other guys coming out, obviously Bromley sometimes, and Paul Senior. You've got a class, you've got a good route there that can grow very, very well. And it seems like, again, you're in both, but if you're in both championships, in the potential to win both championships, what are you going to do then? Because you're going to have to make a decision, like you said, either or. But those partners on your number 2 Beaumont get you there each and every week. Who do you want to thank?
First and foremost, I think Tire Depot of Barrie. We had some motor issues a few weeks ago, and they stepped up huge, helped me out. You know, anybody that needs any kind of tire for anything, make sure you give them a call. Talk to Daryl or Mike. They'll help anybody out. Just tell them that I sent you, you know, and you'll get a discount and all that stuff. They're good guys, man. They do everything they can to help everybody out. Fox's Bakery and Deli, you know, they've been with me since my 4-cylinder days. You know, Steve Fox, you know, like you can't get much better of a person than him and his wife Janice. You know, they're amazing people. They're the same, man. Like if I need something, they're there instantly to help me. I got to thank, Image Wraps. He designed my number this year for me. Makes the decals look amazing.
Mhm.
When I need decals, they're there instantly. Like that afternoon, he has them made. I got to thank my brother, HMCW. We probably, on race days, we probably call each other 15 times each to bounce ideas off each other. FCR Racing, my buddy Adam, he does my spotting for me and helps me in the pits, and he helps me out huge. Xander, I'm going to call him my crew chief. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to make these races. He's at the shop with me every single night. Simcoe gases, they give us, they supply me with all my welding gases and nitrogen for my tires and all that stuff. So they're in the Innisfil. So if anybody in the area needs any welding supplies or anything like that, make sure you check them out. It's Josh Watson. He doesn't have his business anymore, but if somebody needs something special, custom made, you might be a good guy to reach out to. And we're just here having fun and putting smiles on everybody's faces.
Well, one of the exciting things that we're really excited about is we're not sure when it's going to happen, but the invitation was put out on Jumbo Media's podcast, and Stickers and Scuffs. So one of the things that we really want to do is get to smaller race shops and see how things are done. And one of the names that we are going to focus on would be obviously Hawn Motorsports. So we're excited about that. Also potentially SNS driver in the future. We just haven't been able to work that out yet. Always kind of, we'll find a way. It'll happen. But Wade, before we wrap up, what do you have to say to Tyler Hawn?
Just want to say good luck this year with the Sunset Point Chase and the OSCAAR Point Chase.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
It was good meeting you.
Good meeting you too.
Thanks, man.
We're bringing people together here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, and Wade Yarrow coming in as a pinch hitter for Graydon Bunn, who forgot it was podcast day, and I'm never going to let him live that down.
Well, you can't.
No. Tyler won't either.
No.
Next Victory Lane interview.
Okay.
Graydon Bunn, you forgot about me. We'll make sure that we do that, but Tyler, obviously the best of luck. Love seeing you at the racetrack. Love chatting with you. It's always an honor, and thank you. I mean, you sent some kind words my way when I was down and out. So, I really appreciate it. And we're all one big family here, and we're going to continue to support the Hawn Motorsports family this season. I've got to think though that with Fox's Bakery and Deli, you must be loaded in terms of meals at the racetrack. That sounds like I've always thought about that. Like, man, what a great partner to have.
Yeah,
like
they're awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yep.
We might have to get some of those samples, huh?
Yeah. Come on down anytime.
You hear it, Foxes. Let's go. Thanks to our friend Joel Robichaud for at JRS Auctions. Make sure you bid on their stuff. Auction starts today. Lots of great stuff in the auction this week. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast.